Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Before we get started, at the end of the past couple shows, I don't know if you've been noticing, we've been talking a little bit of football. We're doing a crossover with the primetime rundown. Well, fun thing is, actually, I combed my hair, I donned the gray polo, and I crossed over onto the primetime rundown this past Friday. And here's a clip of it from when we were giving kudos. They like to give kudos at the end. They put people over and stuff. I decided to put over the EWP. Let's see how that went.
To Karl, what is his kudos? I have a sneaking suspicion it is something wrestling related.
It is not actually wrestling.
Oh!
It is to a point because I want to give kudos to my guys, because in the Survivor poll last week, we went a perfect 6-0. We went a perfect 6-0. Even Tyler got his pick correct. So it was shocking.
He did.
So if you can just real quick, I'll put the standings graphic up. Oh my God. Oh, this is embarrassing. Joe, somebody hacked the show, Joe. Somebody hacked the show. I can't get this off.
Oh my goodness.
And Joe, you know why he gets to do that? Because look what you did. Look what you did. Look what you did to us. We would have matched them perfectly at 6-0.
That was completely unprofessional on my part. That was unprofessional, Joe. I sincerely apologize.
I don't care. No, that was good.
That's the fun we get to have when Ian's not here. Out.
Exactly.
That's welcome it.
It was out. Yeah, so needless to say, I'm not sure I'm exactly going back to the primetime rundown anytime soon, so you two probably have to take care of that for the next couple weeks, if that's okay. And we will get into this week's standings at the end of the show like we always do. We'll see if they were able to keep up with us. Tyler with a bold pick. Thought he had some inside information. One can only assume, but Tyler's going to be Tyler. Welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast. My name is Karl. The show's always powered by the Eastern Observer. You can taste the power, and I do like to thank Joe Jarzenka and Rob DeLuca. Ian wasn't there. Those two for putting up with me this past Friday on the primetime rundown. There was a song that played that day. I was going refrigerator shopping. The song said, "I'm not aware of too many things. I know what I know. You know what I mean." So that's pretty much how I went into that, and it was a good time had by all. But we are here. We are going to talk some wrestling. We had a huge week last week. Down on the bottom part of our screen, we have our first ever PWP champion, the living legend, John DeConnie. John, how are things today, pal?
Not bad, sir. Not bad at all. I had a good time. I think I watched your whole segment. Lots of laughs, because that's what the Essential Wrestling Podcast brings. We bring some football knowledge, plenty of wrestling, but always bring the laughs.
That's I think that's why people want to watch. I don't know. Anyway, on the top of our screen, also with us as always, Mike Maida's cousin, John Smith. John, how are things in your neck of the woods today?
Not bad. I'm still a little bitter over those guys not accepting our fantasy football challenge, but beating them up in this instead is somewhat of a consolation.
Yeah, and that's it. As we mentioned, and I mentioned this on the show, I don't think they realize the severity of this pool. Now, the thing is, we're gonna have fun with the six of us. With Travis and Ryan, and the three of us. We're gonna have fun amongst ourselves, and I'm gonna talk trash, but eventually we're all doing well right now, so no one can really talk trash at all. But the thing is the team goal, because the losing show has to keep Tyler. So that's where we all have to band together right now. And I don't think they were too happy with that. I don't think Rob was too happy with that. So they're gonna pick up their game. So
Tyler's doing his best to stay on our team, though.
Yeah, he's trying. He wants to stay with us. I think he's more a wrestling guy than a sports. Tyler's everywhere. Tyler's a little bit of everything. So on today's episode, last night on Raw, we had 5 championship matches last night on Raw. And we have 3 coming up tonight on NXT 2.0. King Nakamura retained the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown. Josh Alexander's gaining momentum on his way to Bound for Glory. Gary Mehaffy with us. He is with us to discuss NXT UK and the huge win by A-Kid last Thursday. Ryan Joy from Minutes to Bell Time. He will be here to discuss the New Japan, the best tournament in wrestling, the G1 Climax. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows. As he presented the graphics, statistics, and everything on the bottom ticker. The match times are all presented by MinutesToBellTime.com. And of course, they're always sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she'll like him too.
The big hurt? Oh, you mean the big hunk?
The big I love. She just shot. She's like, yeah, I like it. Anyway, we're going to main event the show with AEW and the 2 huge nights at Grand Slam. But we're going to curtain jerk the show with Extreme Rules and the question that is on our minds, that has been on our minds for God knows how many years now, and it was answered this past Sunday. What happens when the ring collapses when you're hulking up? John McConney.
Apparently, you blow out your knee and lose the match. So we had a Universal Championship match between the head of the table, Roman Reigns, and the Demon Finn Balor. It was an Extreme Rules match, the only Extreme Rules match on the Extreme Rules card. And these two went for nearly 20 minutes. It was a really good match. We had Roman hit a spear at one point. We thought the Demon was done. He makes the cover, but returning the favor from the prior week, or from a prior match, I should say, the Demon got a shoulder up, but did so with Yambag Yahtzee, as Taz likes to call it.
Yes.
He delivered the low blow, got out of that. He hit a coup de grace. Once again, we think maybe the match is over, but no, the Usos pull him off the cover, straight out of the ring. There's some chaos on the outside. The Demon takes out both of the Usos, and just in time to get walloped by a spear, taken through the barricade in front of the timekeeper's table. The spear took everything out of Roman, too. He's taking his time getting up. The Demon is face down. He's done. He's barely moving. Then the lights go low. We get those red lights for the Demon. We get the Demon's heartbeat. And suddenly it was like someone was hitting him with a defibrillator. He starts spazzing around like a fish out of water. He comes to. That John Woo drop kick sends Roman across and through a table. He rolls him back in. He's going up for his second coup de grace. This is going to be it. New Universal Champion. The lights are still low. We can't see a whole lot. And then, boing, a turnbuckle just gives way. The top rope collapses. Finn falls on his face. He gets up. He's favoring his left knee. Blah, blah, blah. Roman gets up. He finally recovers. Spears him. 1, 2, 3. And still Universal Champion, because we don't know how to write the ending to a show. Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but nobody lost an eye, so.
So it was an improvement over last year, is what you're saying.
I guess, right? But hey, I guess maybe Finn had one too many donuts backstage and cater. I don't know. He seems like he watches what he eats, Finn Balor, so I'm not exactly sure if it was the weight. Maybe you'll find out on Friday that was a plant that the Usos or Paul Heyman rigged that to make sure that if the Demon does Hulk up, that there was an answer to it.
Maybe Matt Sydal did it.
Maybe Matt Sydal did it. That'd be interesting. John Smith. We mentioned the Usos. They had a big return match. These teams have fought once before a while ago when Jimmy Uso returned from his injury. This time the SmackDown Tag Team Championships on the line. The Usos, and actually I think the last time it was too, but this time the Usos were the defending the champions at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was a title on the line last time. Maybe there was, but Yeah, the Street Profits come in with Ford with his ribs taped up because he's selling what Roman did to him on SmackDown with the whole beatdown. Usos go up early, of course, because they're the heels, and then we get the hot tag from the faces. Then we get the match started because we got that out of the way, and you get lots of nice chain wrestling, high flying stuff, nice double super kick, but it just wasn't. They didn't have enough. The Street Profits and the Usos hit a double splash from the top rope to retain the titles.
Yeah, and they were celebrating backstage. They were having a good old time before they go help Roman out. So it's the Usos. They retained. They got it done. John Smith. So did Charlotte Flair. Without casualties, though. We I believe. I think there's a reason why Alexa was not on Raw last night.
Yeah, I think she might be sewing her Lily doll back together because that was the real the real takeaway from this match. Wasn't that Alexa lost? I think we all figured Charlotte wasn't going to lay down for Alexa, but after but after the match, Charlotte took it an extra step and ripped Lily to shreds, ripped the stuffing out of her. Alexa Bliss was chewing on an Alka-Seltzer. It was weird. She was foaming at the mouth. So, that's how we ended that one, was with the death of Lily. Or maybe we'll just get a stitched together Lily like Chucky.
It's possible. Yeah, it's a very sore subject with Ted. I'm covering his ears right now.
What about Alf?
No. Ted had the incident at Fenway Park during his movie. So,
true.
He's a little sensitive to that. Alf, on the other hand, I saw this picture. I don't even know if do I still have it? Yeah, there we go. See, there's a reason why I have Ted in my life right now. Here's a picture of Alf way back in the day. As you know, I have 4 cats, so we need somebody to keep Alf. Alf at bay. That's why Alf comes with me on road trips. It can't be trusted. John DeConnie, the SmackDown Women's Championship, decent match. I believe it did go over 10 minutes. Thought we were going to get a conclusion to this, but we have a returning boss. I'm happy with this.
Yes, the SmackDown Women's Championship match, also known as the reason I still can't pull a perfect pay-per-view. We had Bianca and Big Time Bex. Becky would retain by DQ, even though she lost by DQ technically. Or no, was that the one that was changed around? I don't.
If you go on WWE.com, it was a no contest. I could not award the people in my pool the 3 points who picked. Some people picked Bianca Belair. I think there was like 3 of them. And I'm not the judge of this. I'm not the referee. I'm just the one that just records the results. So WWE.com ruled it a no contest.
Okay, so we got a no contest, and Becky retains because as Bianca was setting Bex up for the KOD, Sasha Banks made a return and stomped out Bianca. And then somewhere well after the bell, she also slapped the taste out of Becky's mouth. So therefore, she's attacked both of them, and it's a no contest.
I believe if you look at the replay, I think she got both of them with the kit. Maybe, I don't know. James Wheeler, he's back watching live. He's chiming in. Thumbs up from Big Time Bex. Orange Lassity. I like it. It makes sense. I don't want to go ripping off AEW. That's probably one of the more original things that they have over there. So let's just leave Orange Cassidy where he is. On the rest of the show, Damian Priest defeated Sheamus and Jeff Hardy after the Royal Roll-Up on Sheamus. The crowd was really behind Jeff Hardy in that match. I don't know if anybody noticed that. They did the yes boo thing with Jeff, and Priest was getting the boos. So maybe we should start using Jeff more in a bigger role. I wouldn't have had a problem with him winning last night. I thought that was a really fun match. The New Day was an impromptu match that was made on the kickoff show. A 6-man tag. The New Day were jumped in the back by AJ Styles, Omos, and then Bobby Lashley. So they had a 6-man tag team match. The New Day got the win. The first of 3 victories in the past 2 nights Big E would have over Bobby Lashley. We'll get to that in the next segment. Lashley was pretty pissed about that. He said a curse word on WWE and TV. ripping off AEW? You don't say the S word on WWE TV. I know AEW says it 75 times a show, but wow, Bobby Lashley cursing on the cock. There you go. He won a title match on Raw. He got it. We'll talk about that next. Was bumped, unfortunately, Liv Morgan, her victory over Carmella onto the pre-show. We are having issues. For those of you who are trying to watch on the YouTube channel, having some backstage during the stream, don't be alarmed, making one quick fix, and then I'll be watching from here. All right, perfect. So we'll be taking care of that. I believe my account on Facebook is not recording either right now, so hopefully people will find other ways to watch this show. So going from last Sunday to last night on Monday Night Raw, like I said, John DeConnie, Bobby was pissed, and he made the challenge to Big E. Big E's not stepping down. He accepted right away during Extreme Rules.
Absolutely. Lashley said what he said, dared him to face him one-on-one, and Big E would respond with, that's fine, but yo ass better be ready. And this would start the show. And I guess just like in AEW last week, when you find out a big match like that starts the show, you should know a couple of things. On AEW, it means something totally different, because on WWE, it means damn well you're not getting a finish to this match. So we had Big E and Lashley for the WWE Championship to start the show last night on Raw. And around the 9-minute mark, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric show up in their Hurt Business tees. They don't do anything. Bobby and Big E were outside the ring at the time that they showed up. They purposely, Shelton was hands up, hands off, like a cornerback trying to pretend like he didn't just yank on the jersey of a wide receiver. I didn't do nothing. So they backed off, but this brought the New Day out. The New Day would come, Kofi and Woods would come screeching down the ringside. They'd start brawling outside the ring. The brawl would actually spill into the ring, and that's what would cause the DQ. Postman Pierce would come out. We're not letting this crap happen. We're not, you're not ruining this title match. We're going to get this title match. We're going to get it tonight, and there won't be any interference because we're putting it inside a steel cage. Fast forward to the main event. We get the redo inside the steel cage. The Hurt Business they had some sway on it. They at one point, Big E was trying to go over the top, which God love Lashley and Big E. They are both incredible athletes and they are good wrestlers. Neither one of them looked like they had any business trying to climb that cage. For the moments where they were faking us out like, ooh, I'm going to try and escape. No, neither one of them was getting a leg up over that cage. Big E was kind of knocked down by the Hurt Business. Then Kofi and Woods came out again. Then during a commercial break, they all got kicked out from ringside so we could actually get a solid conclusion to this match. And we would get it in the form of, once again, Bobby and Big E playing on that second and third rope, using the cage to hold them up. Well, Big E would scoop Bobby Lashley up and hit a second turnbuckle avalanche big ending for the 1, 2, 3, and still your WWE champion, Big E Langston. But that was not the end of the evening.
That was not.
The cage would raise, Big E would celebrate and whatnot. And then we got some Scottish music. And Drew McIntyre makes his way out. Angela is in tow. And the night ends with him just pointing Angela at Big E. Are we going to get this match? With the draft coming up, you would kind of almost think not, but, it certainly made you go to bed last night with a question mark in your head.
Yeah, we'll talk about the draft after this, where Drew McIntyre is going to land. It's a little, I guess, questionable. He's one of those guys that I think are questionable. But Crown Jewel's right around the corner, and now with the Bobby Lashley thing done, Bobby's going to go to Goldberg. Goldberg already said that he's going to kill him. Pretty sure that was yes word's one thing. I don't think you can kill people in WWE. I guess he's pissed. And Goldberg's
maybe in Saudi Arabia it's okay.
I mean, in Saudi Arabia it's okay. Yes. So maybe we're gonna have Drew McIntyre versus Big E. One last, hurrah for Drew. Now Drew can go for it now. Now that Bobby's not champion, Drew can get right back into this thing. So. Charlotte Flair, she defeated Doudrop. She had an open challenge for the Raw Women's Championship. Doudrop accepted, and she lost after the Eva Marie distraction into natural selection. Charlotte was ungrateful for Eva Marie's help and clotheslined her. So I was okay with that. I'm like, yes, like this is happening. Like she's going to get her championship match. This is perfect. Apparently, Eva thought the same exact thing and decided to let everybody know about it the segment after. And here comes Shayna Baszler and pretty much snapped her arm. So maybe we're not going to see Eva for a while. Maybe we will, just in an arm cast. But she's not wrestling. Did she ever wrestle? She wrestled at SummerSlam. So close. John Smith, Damian Priest put up the United States Championship again against Sheamus. So we had back-to-back title matches and back-to-back nights.
Yeah, and this was an Extreme Rules match, and this was probably more extreme than anything you saw on Sunday, or even in that cage match, to be honest with you. They go a few minutes without going too extreme, but then the table comes out, and then it was all uphill from there. We got a white noise off the apron to Damian Priest through that table, where Priest landed on the back of his neck. It looked pretty sick. They bring the chairs in and get them involved. Sheamus threw Priest into the corner where he had one set up in the turnbuckles. That one looked like it smarted a little bit. And then you cut to a few moments later, and Priest has the same chair and whips it right into Sheamus's face, which I wasn't aware that we're allowed to do headshots now, but I'm fine with it. Maybe because he's got that thing on his face. Who knows?
If we're cursing on the cock, then headshots illegal, right?
Yeah, right. Then we got a table set up in the corner. They don't use it yet. We got a kendo stick involved, or a Singapore cane for you ECW fans. It ended up across the face of Priest at one point, whipping each other in the back with it. We finally get Priest Irish whipping Sheamus through that table in the corner, and then hitting his finisher for the 1, 2, 3. I always forget the name of his finisher, but it was a good match. You always know what to expect when Sheamus is on the screen. I love it.
Yeah, Sheamus has upped his game a lot since turning into a singles, since separating himself from Cesaro. His finish move is called the Reckoning. The Reckoning.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Styles, he defeated Riddle after a Styles clash, a choke slam from Omos post match on Riddle, just for fun.
Yeah.
Reggie defeated Ricochet via disqualification. It was a 24/7 championship match. R-Truth and Drew Gulak attacked Reggie during the match, causing disqualification. But two flippy guys like that just trying to out-jump each other. What is this, Wednesday? Like, seriously, come on, these two. John Smith, I'm going to give you back-to-back matches here. You got Karrion Kross defeated Jackson Riker in due time with the cross jacket, so he's still on top. But then we got Keith Lee. I believe you have a prediction about Keith Bearcat Lee.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so he's Keith Bearcat Lee now. Eventually, he'll be Bearcat Lee.
Yes. And
then he'll be Bearcat. And then we might even go down to BC, but they might just land at Bearcat.
Just land at Bearcat. Is he going to have, like whiskers painted on?
Oh, like that kid's show from the 80s, the guy with the cat face? What the hell was that called?
It was Kiss, right? The band Kiss?
I knew you were going to go there. That's Peter Criss.
That's Peter Criss. There you go. Angel Garza defeated Eric of the Viking Raiders after a wing clipper, so it looks like Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, they're going to be a tag team going forward. Two handsome men. Humberto actually find the front. I guess it has to be family, right? Funny thing is, both their names are actually Humberto. They're cousins, and they're both named Humberto. Angel Garza's real name is Humberto. And then in a six-man tag team match, Jinder Mahal, Veer, and Shanky defeated Jeff Hardy, Mustafa Ali, and Mansoor after Ali was hung out to dry. Because Mansoor is just so infatuated with Jeff Hardy, he just completely left on Mustafa Ali, hung out to dry, got completely leveled with a ferocious clothesline. It was a ferocious. So it was okay, anyway, that was bad. I thought it was. I was laughing all last night when I was like, there you go.
Zoobly Zoo was the name of the show, and this is what I was thinking of. That's going to be the Bearcat.
Okay, then a quick recap of SmackDown before we get into the draft. We had an Intercontinental Championship match, John DeConnie. Did Apollo Crews get his belt back? He had such a historic reign. I think it's about time to give him the belt back.
Well, apparently the powers that be do not agree with you because King Nakamura would retain. He hit a spinning judo takedown that looked like it was the setup for an armbar, but Apollo's feet kind of came up and Nakamura said, "What the hell?" He hooked the legs and kind of it looked like a roll-up win, but it was set up by a very nice takedown by Nakamura, and he is still your Intercontinental Champion.
Good for him. Seth Rollins has not heard from Edge for the one more match of the Factory Retirement. I forget what Seth Rollins is going for here, but this third match is headed for Crown Jewel, so we'll keep you posted when that's booked. Nikki Ash defeated Natalya. Hey, Natalya's still going on her losing ways, those two. With the Raw Roll-Up. Post-match, shots fired by Tegan and Shotzi. They want the tag titles. They're going to get after it. Naomi and her little squabble with Sonya Deville. Sonya mentioned Naomi last night on Raw, too. This is going to go somewhere, and I'm really going to enjoy it. Naomi made it to the ring and demanded a match, in which she was denied. She actually challenged Sonya. Sonya denied she's not a wrestler anymore. So going up after Extreme Rules, I forgot to put the standings up last night. That's not the standings, wrong standings. The WWE, here are WWE standings. Maggie May nailed it. She went 4-1 last night. She extended her lead on Ryan. John DeConnie 4-1. John Smith's got right on you, 2 points behind John DeConnie. He went 3-2. Gary went 2-3. Gary had a rough night. I did okay, 3-2. And that's where we go from that. We'll go over the overall standings once we recap Grand Slam. But it is getting a little drafty this week, boys. So what I have right now, just like I did last year, I have all of the rosters on graphic form. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put up Raw and SmackDown first. Here's the Raw roster. It's pretty stacked. Like I said, that tag team division, now you add the Hurt Business to it. You add Hector Garza, Angel Garza, and Humberto Carrillo to that. You got about a 10-team division right there. So that's actually more stacked than I think we gave it credit for. But we got a pretty solid roster right there. Headlined by no WWE champion, because the WWE champion that's supposed to be representing Raw is actually a SmackDown wrestler. So Big E, Roman Reigns, both there. You got members of the Four Horsewomen, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bayley on SmackDown. Tag team division is a little hurting on the SmackDown side with only 5 teams. But this roster is a little bit thin right here. So with all the releases and everything that has happened, these 2 rosters are just going to get shuffled like a deck of cards like they always do. Just real quick, is there anybody from Raw you want to see on SmackDown, John Smith, or anyone from SmackDown you want to see on Raw?
Well, I was under the impression that Big E was on Raw now, like technically because he was the champion. Doesn't that just automatically make him a Raw superstar? I don't think he can be drafted either way, right? Well, I mean, I guess he can be drafted as the champ. Well, I'd like to see Roman get drafted to Raw and then have Big E keep that belt on SmackDown. That'd be fun if that was the case. But
you want to see the red belt back?
Yeah. I want to see Cesaro move over just because I want, giving somebody a drafted status that'll boost him a little bit and maybe get him back on the radar, because he hasn't done anything since he lost to Roman a bunch of times.
Roman buried people.
Yeah, right. That's the only person I'd like to see switch shows. I think that they're going to have the New Day and Big E be separate. And whatever they do with them, I don't think they're going to be on the same show together. I think this is just for a few more weeks, or actually it's not. It's over now. So
all right. Well, James Wheel's throwing out his draft pick order. He's got McIntyre, Priest, Keith Lee, the tag champs, Mansoor Ali, The Miz, Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Jeff Hardy, Ricochet, all going to SmackDown. John DeConnie, anything you want to see from Raw, go to SmackDown, SmackDown to Raw. I know Drew McIntyre's name was mentioned, and I think he was kind of like in a discussion originally, like, okay, well, he's going to go out, now it's time for him to go after Roman again. That feud, you circle back to that again,
Yeah, that's one of the ones I have it on my list, but that was one of the ones that, like, I just assume that's going to happen because you need the next, you got Brock somewhere down the line. You may even have The Rock, but you know, you got to fill in the blanks here with some faces for Roman to destroy. So I think Drew can make a very convincing one. I'd like to see, and it ties into what I think we're going to get to in the next segment. I'd like to see Shayna go over to SmackDown. And I already said I've got McIntyre going to SmackDown. And then I've got Ricochet, because I think I did this last year too. Ricochet going to Impact because he would make a great X Division champion, and he's doing freaking nothing.
Okay, so we're on SmackDown. The big discussion this year with the draft, more so than in years past. I know last year I kind of made a joke about it because they did all the NXT call-ups before, about a month before the draft happened, so there were no NXT call-ups technically. But here is the shambles. This roster is a mess right now. The NXT 2.0 roster. John DeConnie, I believe we are in agreement. There's somewhere in the nature of 70 wrestlers on this roster. And I kind of grouped them, the top part, and you can see they're spaced. The top part of guys that have been there. The bottom ones, like you see on the men's side, Braun Breaker, Odyssey Jones, Von Wagner. They're the new breed, you know, not to rip off the old ECW. But this roster is a complete disaster right now. You know, and Ryan Joy called me out. I do make fun of AEW a lot for the size of their roster. And rightly so, because even AEW's roster is 30 wrestlers more than this. So I don't even know if I have a graphic big enough for the AEW roster. But where are we going here? I'm going to put this back up, John Smith. But who from NXT? Somebody has to go here.
Okay. Well, I think the definites that are going to be gone are Dakota Kai and Aaliyah. I think Dakota might get drafted, but I don't think Aaliyah gets drafted. I just think she shows up on the main roster pretty soon. I think, unfortunately, Cameron Grimes might be one of the big names getting the call up and getting drafted. I'd like to see him stay on NXT because, you know me, I'm the NXT guy, but I think Grimes will be the guy, like the big name. I have a feeling Odyssey Jones might get brought up, even though he's brand new on NXT, but I have a feeling that might happen too. Raquel, if she loses that title, I think she ends up there. I think she ends up there soon, regardless. She might not get drafted. My wild card for people who I think might end up there is Legado del Fantasma. I think that Vince probably loves what he sees with them, and that trio would work really well on the main roster. Personally, I want to see Scarlett. That's my number one debut thing about NXT to the main roster. Scarlett must go to Raw. Scarlett must go to Raw and be with Karrion Kross and get
just got engaged over the weekend.
Yes, they did, and get that stupid outfit off of Kross. And I also want to see Io Shirai go up to the main roster. I don't think it's happening yet because they're still tag champs. And then I really want to see Hit Row go to the main roster because I think they can go really far up there. But I mean, they still have the North American title with them, so I doubt that's happening. But that's something I want to see.
All right, John DeConnie, do you need the roster back up here? I mean, there's a lot to take in here. Who do you got getting?
And I got it in front of me. And in fact, I doubled down on a couple things John Smith said. In fact, I have on here Scarlett to Raw. Put her with her damn man.
Thank you.
Then this one's kind of a pie in the sky idea, but I thought it would be a cute, little storyline, even if it was only for, it works for a week, and then he can kind of meld his way into the roster. We've heard or we've read, if you're reading the dirt sheets, that Von Wagner 2 years ago, Vince said, this guy reminds me of a young Edge. I thought, wouldn't it be cute if during the draft he not got drafted because he's not a name that you're going to draft, but if he was backstage and Seth Rollins saw him maybe from behind, thought it was Edge and jumped him, and like that was the main roster's kind of introduction to Von Wagner. I've got Austin Theory going to SmackDown and immediately into the Intercontinental title picture. I've got Raquel coming up. She'll be the face to destroy Becky and then feud with Shayna, who I had earlier being traded to drafted by SmackDown. They could use some help over there on that tag team division. So I've got both MSK and GYV heading to SmackDown.
Nice.
I agree with Smith. I've got Grimes going to Raw and chasing Priest in the U.S. title. And I've got Io going to Raw. She can chase Charlotte. They can have a battle of the moonsaults. And then whether she takes the belt off on her or not, eventually she can settle into a tag team with Asuka and they can go after the tag titles. And we already did Scarlett to Raw, put her with her man. And Travis brought up this morning on this show with Ryan, get Cesaro out of there because he's not doing anything anyway. Even if you put him back together with Sheamus and let the Bar have another run, they were always fun.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, you hit every nail on the head. Grizzled young veterans. That was one of my big calling. Get them. They're not doing anything down there. They did their job. That was fun watching them go golfing.
They were supposed to be the new champs, and then MSK showed up.
Yep.
Yep.
So, all right, gentlemen, we are going to bid you adieu for a little bit. We are going to stay on the topic of the WWE draft as we bring in Gary Mehaffy. Gary, top of the evening to you, my lobby.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, real quick before we get into NXT UK. I do have your roster here as well. I'm going to put this up right now. It's a more stacked roster than I think people give it credit for. I know me and you we're in awe by this. We love this. I don't think we want to touch a thing. But there is one huge question mark here, and that's why I wanted to bring this to your attention, and that's Walter. Do you see Walter going anywhere on Friday or Monday? He doesn't need to chase the UK title again, but then again, it's like one of those things where he doesn't want to be stateside. So, like, where is this? Do you know anything? Like, what is your opinion? What can happen to Walter?
I think, as you say, I know he doesn't kind of want to go, but what I think now, and whether this changes slightly with Triple H being kind of not well and slightly out of power in NXT, but I think with the amount of times that he'd brought him across in the last 6-9 months a year was to try and go, hey, it's not too bad over here. Sure, it's not. No, give it a wee go. So I think that he could be convinced. I don't think he's anything else to do on the NXT UK. I really don't. And I would love to see him go. And actually, to be fair, one of the things that when John DeConte was talking there, and we were talking about some of the NXT, even stateside roster. I know what little I know of American sport when they're doing their drafts and stuff. Like, you could make a real big thing if you went and the first draft pick is, and all of a sudden, whether it's somebody from NXT or Walter or somebody to just kind of go, they're the number one, we think they're the biggest, and to try and see if the fans would go, flip, who's this? And really push and go, this is our number one. Forget moving Seth or Drew or whatever. We're going for him. And you try to make a new guy straight off the bat. So I would be interested to see him going across. I do think at some point, Aoife Valkyrie will get a look. Probably NXT, maybe just main roster before, maybe not. Well, hopefully Raw or SmackDown at some point. I think she'll get a look at some point. But I would say Walter has a fairly good chance of ending up on SmackDown. I'd like to see it, but
I guess I deleted the graphic already, but that NXT roster is just too. Like, I would say, just keep Walter stateside, keep him safe in that. He doesn't have to travel. He just stays in that one arena, and he'll be happy. There's just no room for him. Like, there's no room. Like, Kaylee Ray, she has to be the line. Like, that's it. Like, you can't bring anybody overseas right now. They got to go directly to Raw or SmackDown. I think Walter can do it. He's got the size. I'm sure Vince would love him on one show. But we're going to hop in. We had a huge triple threat match last week. The winner he is the number one contender. We had three faces going for this. I'm loving the UK. You got a little heel on heel action every once in a while. Now you got three faces going after a face champion. This was nuts. And like I said, unfortunately, we were correct with our one prediction that the only reason why Nathan Frazier was in the match was But he showed out. I thought all three of these guys showed out. And how do you like the result?
Yeah, I mean it's good. I mean, like when we had the conversation last week, and all three had the possibilities, and there were good points for all three of them doing it. And whenever as it was going on, I thought, right, okay, the easy option would be to kind of go for the big guy. Let's keep him in. Let's keep Rampage there. Kind of go like the WWE mentality. But when it was finished, I actually went, I really love to see an A-Kid Dragunov. I mean, A-Kid's great and it was known to be amazing before he came in to NXT UK. And you're kind of going, he's shown a lot of what he can do, but I think putting him and Dragunov together, which would be a completely different style of match from obviously what Walter would be. And it would bring out a different side to Dragunov as well. It will be an amazing, and the build to it will be absolutely great because you don't have to rush it. You can move him and you can have all sorts of people. You can have Noam Dar coming back in and going, hey, big boy, that's A-Kid, you and me. Let's put this number one thing on the line. And all of a sudden, you just take your time before you get to it. So it'll be really, really good. I was surprised in some, I was surprised and I wasn't surprised. We've said before, Nathan Fraser needs to be let loose at some point. But obviously, the singing cowboy isn't quite ready to kind of do it just yet. But
yeah, to Nathan Fraser's credit, he took that Liu Kang kick is what I call it. I don't know whatever that kick is that A-Kid does. That's phenomenal. I absolutely love it. He took two of those, one of those or two of those, I don't remember, but he took a doctor bomb right before that from Rampage. Yeah. So it took a lot to get him down. But yes, now okay, Nathan Fraser, you did okay. Now let's get him rolling. I completely agree with that. Now the conversation we had last week, Gar, I made the point that Dragunov he could lose on the first title defense and no one would give a crap because he's the guy that beat Walter. He's made done. No one's gonna remember. He's the guy that beat Walter. Oh, he's had it. 3 title defenses. He's the guy that beat Walter. This title reign is irrelevant in my opinion. Does A-Kid do this?
I mean, you could, because actually it was interesting thinking about, as I thought about the draft again there, obviously there's been a few, like the Dragunov interview and stuff that happened. He's obviously still in the States when he was doing all that. And you're going, I think that Vince will have watched the Dragunov Walter match and gone, oh, hello. I could watch that match several times. And he may well say, do you know what, to try and get him to come across. And if he does that, as you say, you could very well have a quick title change, almost a changing of the guard and saying, yes, he beat Walter and that's put him up on this pedestal, but all of a sudden, bam, new champion, new era, new direction almost, and then away you go. So you could easily do it.
Ginny got the win over Isla Dawn last Thursday. A distraction by Joseph Connors, as always, leading to the makeover by Ginny. But Isla had a moment where she had Connors by his wrists. It was doing like the flickering thing with her eyes. Like she doesn't need to win a damn match, and she's turning into this superpower like Wanda Maximoff type. I know you don't get that reference, but Marvel Scarlet Witch, type deal.
Yeah. Oh, first I'll bring that. I think it's Jenny's birthday today, apparently. So happy birthday! I'm sure she's a big fan of the show.
I'm sure happy birthday, Jenny.
Yeah. No, I mean as you say with Isla Dawn, it's funny because the character's great, and it's like Alexa Bliss without all the hocus pocus just yet. And she's been doing this character, like the vampire type character, for a few years, so she has it down. Where they're going with it, I don't know. And where they go, I do think that they'll come back, that the Joseph Connors stuff, they'll come back to that. It wasn't a moment because even it was mentioned in commentary. Like, I mean, they kind of went, oh, what's been going on here? And you went, oh, okay. Yep. They're gonna come back to this. So
we're gonna try to wrap this up a little bit quicker. We're running late right now. We still have a lot to talk about, especially with Grand Slam. But Blair Davenport did a promo threatening Skid Scala to reinstate her, or bad things will continue to happen. That's funny. Got a threat authority. I like that. Subculture got vandalized by Sam Gradwell. That was good. And then speaking of Subculture, I think it was just a bad couple quick minutes for Subculture. Danny Luna was working out, and here comes Zaya Brookside. She's taking what Mako said to heart. She's going to challenge Danny Luna. We have 3 matches coming up this Thursday, so this might have to be held off for another week. But we're going to get Zaya Brookside back in action since Blair Davenport going up against Danny Luna, so that should be fun. Charlie Dempsey making his in-ring debut.
Yeah.
Any predictions, promotions, whatever you want to do, Charlie?
I'm really looking forward to that. I think it is going to be a throwback type of character where it's going to be a very British style from like the 70s, 80s type, which I'm really, really looking forward to. I know obviously his dad was involved. That's where he grew up and that sort of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does this week. There's big things expected of him. So hopefully he comes through.
There was an interesting debate between Trent Seven against Ashton Carter and Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter about which was better, the rock bottom or the bookend. It's the debate that is the timeless debate, Gary. It just never ends. I've had that discussion. I had a nickel for every time I've had that discussion. But then all of a sudden it got into a mix. We're going to get a tag team match this Thursday. Tyler Bates going to be dragged into this as well.
Yeah, and I still think this, as we've said before, I still think there's a long-term thing between Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. That Trent Seven seems to be like, oh, forget, here we go. Oh, yeah, he's the one that's kind of pushing tag team. And I thought there's something's got. I don't think this will be the loss. I think Mustache Mountain will win. But I think that at some point down the line, a month or so, maybe 6 weeks, they'll head a little bit of a breakup. But.
Yeah, I even had them. I don't know if you saw on the roster. I even had them in the tag team division.
Yeah.
Separately. This is coming. Tyler Bates is the champion, which is separated now. And then in the Heritage Cup tournament, speaking of Tyler Bates championship, Wolfgang defeated Teal Man 2-1 in 4 rounds to advance to the final against Noam Dar. That is not this upcoming Thursday. That'll be next week. So we'll talk about the finals of this tournament next Thursday, assuming. But Gallus was celebrating in Jordan Devlin's locker room. In a very premier locker room as well. Actually kicked Devlin out as he tried to get back into it. Jordan had no choice but to tattle on Gallus to Johnny Saint. So Joe Coffey is going to get at it with Jordan Devlin. This will, I don't say the main event. It has to probably be the main event. This will probably be the main event of the fun matchup. I like this.
Yeah, it'll be good. I've loved the interplay actually over the last few weeks because you can see it coming. So it's really, really good, and it'll be a really good match. Let's say 2 different styles, but it'll be a good match. And I think Joe Coffey will take it. Actually, to be fair, but
I don't know. Let's get Jordan back. Jordan, I don't think Jordan's wrestled since he's gotten back. Or maybe he wrestled once since he's gotten back from Takeover Stand and Deliver. So we haven't seen Jordan Devlin in the ring for a while.
yeah.
So that could go either way. I'm a Jordan Devlin guy, so I'm going to Jordan, but I'm not going to be shocked if Joe Coffey or upset if Joe Coffey wins. But Gary, we appreciate it that we ran a little late talking about the draft. We appreciate you staying up with us late, pal. Thank you very much. We will talk to you next week.
Yep. See you then. Have a good one.
All right. So as we move, Gary, we're going to bring back in John Smith. We're going to bring back in John DeConnie. We might have to go into hyper mode here to try to make sure that we get everything in going forward. I know NXT 2.0. Look at that. I got the nice new lovely graphic. Look at that 2.0 up there.
Yeah.
John DeConnie, the show started with all the new guys in the ring with the new champ, Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa put over the entire thought process of NXT 2.0. So Ciampa's sold on it. At least he is on camera. As a good quarterback says, he's not gonna kill the team if he's having a bad game. But and then here comes LA Knight. Here comes Cameron Grimes, Pete Dunne, Rich Holland. A brawl ensues, and it leads to our main event.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, with all those people in the ring, Ciampa and Braun Breaker would be the ones to hold the ring at the very end by getting rid of Dunne and Holland. And then Braun Breaker had the smart idea of a tag match, and that was your main event. Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa against Pete Dunne and Rich Holland. And once again, we're still not acknowledging who Braun Breaker is, but he did almost get Pete Dunne to tap to the Steiner recliner. Ciampa would stop Dunne from using Holland's club, the illegal object, and it falls to the floor. Later on, they wind up outside, and Kyle O'Reilly shows up. Holland tries to pick it up again. O'Reilly rips it out of his hands, kind of jabs him in the chops with it, rolls him back in, and Breaker, he didn't get him up for a long time, but got that gorilla press in, dropped him down to the shoulder and into a power slam. Braun Breaker and Ciampa get the 1-2-3 victory over Dunn and Holland.
That was very WCW, dude, right there. The illegal object. Not the word on it. I don't know why. Yeah.
I don't know what the hell to call that little thing. It's like a mini club.
Yeah, it's going to be a mini Billy Cup. John Smith, Cameron Grimes. There's a lot of inactions last Tuesday night. We're going to blow through them real quick, though. But Cameron Grimes, he had Jersey Joe Gacy here.
Yeah,
Jersey guy, and he seems is millennial the word here? I might have to.
Yeah, like a millennial social justice warrior type guy. Looking like the creepy mid-20s teacher who wishes he was like one of the jocks that's in high school right now. He sat there talking about how he wants to turn the ring into a safe space. Yeah, it was more about him getting his character over than anything. He barely hit any moves. After 2 minutes, Cameron Grimes hit his finisher and pinned him. So it was more about just introducing us to the beta male, Joe Gacy.
Like I said, we had a lot in a Kaylee Ray. She won with a gory bomb. Dante Chen, the first ever Singaporean wrestler. I apologize to the people of Singapore who are watching right now. I don't know what to call you guys. The people of Singapore, the first person from Singapore to be a professional wrestler. There we go. He defeated Trey Baxter. Trey Baxter, I have in my notes, I think Trey Baxter, the indie darling, I think he's the last of the dying breed. We think he's in trouble, but then he's starting some type of relationship with Cora Jade now. So I think we're okay on Trey Baxter. We can hold off. We don't have to pull the alarms or send him to the dark elevation or anything at the moment. We're still good with him right now.
He might be coming back as Nikki ASH, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's a superhero. Hey, that's right. Yep. Briggs and Jensen, they became friends after a bar fight. Sure. Why not? Works for me. Andre Chase has a potty mouth. All right. So Bobby Lashley is saying S words on the cock. He's currently like Andre Chase was flat out dropping F-bombs on USA Network. So that caught me. I thought that was really stupid. And then he started doing that. I'm like, okay, this guy has my attention. So Andre Chase, keep doing your thing. I'll be watching. And then Odyssey Jones defeated two inactions at once in a handicap match after a tsunami. Oh, too soon.
Too soon, man. Too soon.
Sorry. With a splash off, the super fly splash off the top rope. Andre Chase tried to hit Odyssey Jones with a chair, and then the chair broke after that. So that's it. We have five matches, I believe. Four matches and a honeymoon coming up. We have Index's honeymoon to look forward to tonight, so that should be fun. Roderick Strong, who actually won the Cruiserweight Championship, he defeated Kushida after the suplex breaker that he does, which was preceded by a distraction and interference by I'm confused my notes right now. No punctuation. It was preceded by a distraction and interference by Diamond Mine. Grayson Waller came out to challenge the new champion. Roddy accepted. So we had a Cruiserweight Championship tonight, gentlemen. John Smith, as our former senior NXT correspondent, I don't know, do you want to be the senior NXT 2.0 correspondent? Like, is this something that you want me to call you that?
Oh, Jesus. No, if you're going to include the 2.0, I don't want you to say it at all.
Gotcha.
You give me recognition for the NXT, though.
There you go.
Imagine my horror when I thought that was a repackaged Dexter Loomis dancing on the stage when Grayson Waller first came out.
Yeah, we saw him with Drake Maverick a couple of weeks, right? That was.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that, but that was I almost just threw my TV out the window when I saw that. I'm going with the Diamond Mine. I'm going with Roddy on this one.
Yeah, they should completely rip off the first ever Nitro and go to the Mall of America and do an NXT show. John DeConnie, we got new champ tonight?
Not in this one. I believe Roderick Strong will hold on. I know they're building to put some of the new kids over, but if Roddy Strong spent all that time chasing Kushida to drop at his first offense, I will be pissed.
Yeah, especially as the guy who's supposed to be the guy that's supposed to be the Drake Maverick in a tag team with Drake Maverick. Like, this is like, I don't think he's beating Roddy. And then it's ladies' night. We got three high potential women's matches. First, and what's been blowing over, Elektra Lopez actually had her first match. She defeated In Action with a gut wrench power bomb. Post match, Santos put her over on the mic. Elektra mentioned B-Fab's name, so Fab appeared and started swinging. This will be a no disqualification match between B-Fab and Elektra Lopez. John Smith, this strikes my fancy. How about yours?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I don't know how to feel about either one of these ladies in the ring yet. So, this will be our first real taste of what they got. I'm going with B-Fab, though.
Going B-Fab. Hit bro. John, but the speakers always echo when I do that. It's actually kind of fun. John Connie.
I'm going to take Elektra Lopez here just because I think she's the more polished wrestler at this point. B-Fab seems really green from what little we've seen about her. She swings a lead pipe very well, but in the ring so far, it looks like she needs a little more work. So I'm going to say they'll go with Elektra for the start of this feud, which I'm sure will continue for a while.
Yeah, it's fine. I like how they're doing this, but this is a tall order to put these two in a no disqualification match. We've only seen each of them one time on TV in a wrestling match. So I'm gonna go with B-Fab just because I like saying hit row. That is the only reason why. This is a toss up right now. We don't know what we're doing. Vince is writing. We don't know. I mean, I think Lopez is the thicker one. I guess we'll put it. I'm not trying to be body shaming. I'm just saying she's more muscular. Vince likes big girls too. So we got that. Then we have Toxic Attraction is ready to take over NXT 2.0. Wonder what Otis thinks about this. JC threw out the challenge for the tag team titles. Io and Zoe just happened to be listening, and they accepted. And then someone came out and said she was best friends with Indy Hartwell and that they want to shop, but I guess we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. So we have a women's tag team championship match. I know with a draft around the corner, Io Shirai's name was mentioned. Zoe Stark could easily go up with this as well. So are we going new tag champs here? Are we addicted to Toxic? We're going to go Britney Spears, John DeConnie?
Yeah, why not? Like I said, I would very much like to see Io go up. Now, if given the proper time, I would have liked to see Io and Zoe break up and then face each other, et cetera, et cetera. But if they're going to yank Io up, this makes sense. Put the belts on Toxic Attraction. Let them be the first of the new blood to get a little rub here.
John Smith, and they've been around for a bit. They were in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, if I remember correctly. I don't know if they were partners. I know Gigi was with Cora Jade. Yeah, JC wasn't, but Gigi's been around for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of theirs. I think they're going to win the titles, though, for the same exact reason Io I see going up to the main roster. So, yeah.
Okay, also, there's going to be a new talk show tonight called Lashing Out with Lash Legend. And I apologize to Lash Legend for not including her in the roster. She is not on WWE.com yet or on ProWrestlingPickin.com. I guess I forgot to add her. I try to stay up to date with this, but I forgot Lash Legend. My bad. And then we got the big one, the match that we were supposed to get a couple of weeks ago. Robert Stone got the job done. He booked a match for Frankie Monet for the NXT Women's Championship against Raquel Gonzalez. And here we go again with the draft conversation. Raquel could easily be mentioned. She could easily go up and be Sasha Banks' version of Diesel. Put her back in that role just for her to break out again later on. So what are we doing with this one, John DeConnie?
I think there is a decent likelihood of exactly what you just said, but I'm going to stick with Raquel. I'm going to say I don't want to see her lose it just yet. So I'm still, I don't feel overly confident, but I'm sticking with Raquel.
All right, John Smith. James is chiming in. If you get a new champion tonight, the Is there going to be a title?
Well,
Sure.
there's enough titles to go around between all the shows we watch. So yeah, there pretty much is a title change every
And they
week.
said this could just be the reset button for that. This is a reset button on NXT, so you might as well reset the champions and get them the hell out of there and get them on either Raw or SmackDown, right? I think that's kind of the theory with all this. But then again, Frankie could easily get called up too. You could put her with Morrison, and that would be hysterical.
Yeah, I'd like to see him put it on Mrs. Drip Drip. I just don't like they haven't been building her up to be like a world champ. It's they're building her up to be like a mean girl, backstabber type. I mean, she would work well as champ. I mean, we all know what she can do from her time in Impact. I don't think the way the story's gone that it makes sense for it to be put on her. So I'm going with Raquel.
All right, I'll stay with you guys. I'll go with Raquel Gonzalez as well. I just think that pairing with Sasha Banks just makes too much sense, though. Is that me? Am I the only one who thinks that?
No.
All right, so
it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So we are going to that's on the bottom. So we are going to switch gears real quick. We're going to fly through Impact for the moment. They're on their road to Bound for Glory. We have some information about the Knockdown tournament as well. But John DeConnie, Josh Alexander, he it's official. He cashed in, or he forfeited the X Division Championship. He is now the number one contender. He will challenge Christian Cage in the main event at Bound for Glory. But Ace Austin's not quite done with him yet, or Christian for that matter.
Yeah. Ace said he's not going away just yet, so they went and he wound up poking Christian in the eye, and the doctor wouldn't clear him for the rest of the night because I think Josh originally wanted a tag match with Ace and Fulton, and Josh said, "Look, somebody's got to handle Austin. Give me a match with him." So that was your main event, Josh Alexander and Ace Austin. They went for almost 17 minutes, and it was fantastic. Eventually, Ace would attempt to hit the fold, but Josh caught him, got him up for that, oh my God, that power bomb backbreaker onto his own knee. That looks so devastating to both men, quite frankly. And then hit him with, whether you want to call it divine intervention like they used to call it, they've been calling it the last few weeks, the C4 spike. And Ace took it. Wow. I mean, He was almost straight up and down like a pin when he took that on his head for the 1-2-3. Afterwards, Fulton attacks. Josh got the 1-2-3 victory. Fulton immediately attacked. Christian came down for the save and kind of cleared the ring with Josh. But then Christian and Josh started barking at each other like, Josh must have been saying, "I didn't need your help," blah, blah, blah. Well, that gave Ace and Fulton a chance to get their second wind and attack again, and they got the upper hand on Christian and Josh. And then we had the return of the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels, who would come down and help the faces clear the ring. And what a sight.
Oh, Christopher Daniels back in Impact. It just feels like home. It just feels like home, and very, very well done. Just two quick things. I'm just going to fast forward a lot of Impact. If you can see on the bottom ticker what happened with the match results. Two things I'm going to bring up real quick. Rohit Raju defeated Chelsea Green. The return of Raj Singh, so now the Desi Hit Squad's getting back together again. Too bad I guess they're missing somebody that's over at NXT UK right now, their third member. But the fun thing is, after the match was over, crowds chanting at Rohit Raju, "You still suck." So I thought that was fun. I was like, yeah. So we got that going. And then Johnny Swinger, okay, so we're wrong about this, okay? We thought there was gold. There's a lot of stuff that can happen with Swinger's pals. He's afraid of Bound for Glory going to Vegas, but I think he's thinking that the whole company's moving. That's what I got the gist from the letter that he had Johnny Bravo defecate, I believe.
The John Deere letter?
Yeah, the John Deere letter, yes. It was defecated by Bravo. Bravo's face when he said, "What?"
You've taken defecation, haven't you?
Defecation, right? So we have we have three matches coming up real quick this Thursday on Impact. The first one, we have a number one contenders match for the Knockouts Tag Team Championship. The winner of this match will face Decay at Knockouts Knockdown. We have Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering, the former champions, going against the Influence This is interesting to me, and I kind of hope and figure that they kind of weasel their way in to a triple threat tag team championship match at Bound for Glory. So that's where I don't know. So I'm kind of hoping, I guess maybe I'll go with Jordan and Rachel to win this, only for the influence to get the win at Bound for Glory. So I'll go with that. John Connie.
I would like to see that scenario, but in case it doesn't happen, I think the influence takes it here because I think they certainly will be at Bound for Glory in that title match.
John Smith.
I agree with John. Give me the influence.
So as we mentioned earlier in the segment, the X Division Championship is now currently vacant. So they're going to have a tournament, a series of triple threat matches. I guess 3 of them, right? There's going to be a triple threat match at Bound for Glory to crown a new champion. So the first qualifier for this match will be the Laredo Kid versus Alex Zane versus Trey Miguel. And the winner gets a ticket to Bound for Glory. Also, shout out to Willie Mack. Millie Mack wants in on this. So he said that in a promo earlier in the night, too. So, John Smith.
The winner gets what?
The winner of that triple threat gets it's Bound for Glory to be in the championship match at Bound for Glory for the X Division Championship.
Oh, okay. Give me the Laredo Kid since he's new and they've been pushing him. I always take Trey Miguel and he always loses. So maybe this will be the one he wins because I'm not picking him.
I'm kind of hoping it's Trey. You know, the other 2 guys haven't even been drawn by Ill-Gotten Brain or one of Ryan's guys. It's got to be Trey, right, John DeConnie?
You know, I hear a lot of really good things about this Alex Zane, so I think this match itself should be fantastic. But it feels like they just got Laredo Kid out of that little thing with Skyler. I'm thinking he advances to this next triple, or the 4th triple threat, which will be at Bound for Glory.
Okay. Eddie Edwards is fuming that Alicia got powered bombed by W. Morrissey. Sammy's actually pissed that he took the brunt of that outcome. So Sammy's actually not pissed at Eddie Edwards for leaving, pulling the Hulk Hogan and leaving Randy Savage hung out to dry. I guess I just compared those 2 to the Mega Powers. But Sammy's like, okay, they just kicked my ass because they did that, so I'm going to help you go find them. So they were hunting them down. They finally found them. It got broken up before they could. They got some moves. They got broken up before they got attacking Bound. So they're going to have a match. I don't know. Is it anything goes? Yeah, anything goes match between Eddie Edwards and W. Morrissey on Thursday night. So, John DeConnie, who do you got in this one?
I'm sure Moose and Sammy will get involved. I don't know. Give me Eddie to get his revenge here. Maybe even Alicia shows up and brings Kendra/Kenny.
Kendra, right? I like how they do that. John Smith.
Give me Morrissey because he looks like Beavis and Butthead got his order wrong.
It's tough to bet against W. Morrissey right now. Actually, there is another match I did forget to mention before. Christopher Daniels actually will be in action on Thursday. It's going to be Christopher Daniels and Madman Fulton, which is probably setting up Bound for Glory. So this is the Bound for Glory. This is what I'm thinking is going to happen right now. So you have the matches booked. You have Christian and Josh Alexander. You got Deanna, Mickey James. You got the X Division Triple Threat, and then the Call Your Shot Battle Royal Gauntlet. That's been announced as well. Rich Swann put his name in that hat. Brian Myers' name's in that hat. The Good Brothers are on vacation, so we'll see them in a little bit. They've been on 2 shows for the past 6 months, so I'll allow them to take a break before Bound for Glory. I think we're going to get Christopher Daniels and Ace Austin, so I think that would be pretty awesome for both those guys. That's a dream match I didn't know I ever wanted. So, also quick side note, also announced there is going to be a tournament at Knockouts Knockdown. The first 2 participants in this tournament were announced are Mercedes Martinez and Lady Frost. James Driller, real quick, he's gave us our SmackDown draft picks. He's commented 3 times his Raw picks. I'm sorry, but the segment's over. That's why I didn't get to him, but I'll just throw him up there now. Real quick, when I threw up that Raw roster, does anyone have eyes on Elias?
I had his name written down. I think he's just going to switch shows just to, give him a fresh start, and because he threw his guitar in the fire. I also think,
and he's going to go after Boogs for stealing his gimmick, right?
Yeah, I also think they might move Omos over to SmackDown and split him and AJ up.
All right, we got a new era coming up. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you one last break. And we are going to bring in our senior New Japan correspondent, our senior AEW correspondent, Ryan Joy from MinutesToBellTime.com. Ryan, how are you this wonderful Tuesday evening?
It's Tuesday. It's great. Let's talk about some G1.
G1, I like it. So lead the way. So what's been going on right now? I heard Tetsuya Naito was winning.
Tetsuya Naito is not winning. He's going to
No.
have his worst G1 ever, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Zack Sabre, who put Naito out on night one, has gone on a tear in the A block. He has defeated Naito. He has defeated Kota Ibushi. He has defeated the world champion Shingo Takagi. He sits there at 6 points right now. Everybody else besides Sabre and Naito is getting a 2-point bump because Naito has forfeited all his matches. Sabre had to actually beat Naito, so he doesn't get that 2-point bump. So Sabre is not leading the block right now. Great Okan is leading the block because Okan has won 3 matches plus gotten the 2-point bonus for Naito. But Sabre and Khan will be wrestling each other on Thursday. And at that point, we'll have a better idea of who is going to be, leading the block. So right now, those two are basically at the top. But Zack Sabre is kind of
I think Toriano's sitting there at 6.
No, see, yes, you have Yano at 6. You have Kenta at 6. They've both lost a match, though.
Okay, gotcha.
See, the A block is very confusing because of the Naito situation. Everybody is getting their 2 points like immediately. So Sabre's 3-0. Great Okan is 3-0 plus he has the 2 points for Naito. Everybody else is 2-1 or worse.
Okay.
So Sabre, real dark horse, but I'm excited to have him, competing on top of this tournament. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's putting himself in a great position to be there at the end.
His road is only getting easier, to be fair. I mean, he beat Ibushi, Naito, and Takagi. All due respect to everybody else that's in the tournament, those were the 3 hardest draws in the A block. So,
okay, what about B block?
In the B block, we have a 3-way tie for first place. Okada, Taichi, and Jeff Cobb all have 2-0 records. They all come back for another round of matches tomorrow. So this will kind of shake out a little bit. Okada is going to be facing Yoshihashi. They're good friends in Chaos. Taichi is facing Evil. And Jeff Cobb has Hiroki Goto. So Cobb and Okada likely to win here. Taichi and Evil is a little bit tighter of a match. So I think after this event tomorrow, after the third night of competition for B block, things will start to level out. This block really appears to be mostly about Jeff Cobb and Okada. Though that's been a rivalry all year. Mm-hmm. And frankly, some people have Cobb winning the whole thing, which would be interesting that they're, using the G1 to kind of establish him. So
that's the Travis pick, right?
Yes.
Didn't Travis have Jeff Cobb? Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I still think this is a plotline thing. I think Naito's going to come back and win this thing. So keep me posted.
Yeah, he better get back to it pretty soon. He's running quite a deficit at this point.
So, anything else that you want to throw ahead, Ryan? It looks like John Smith and John DeConnie are both out at the moment. Anything else? What's going on with Ring of Honor, MLW? Anything else going on that you want to bring to our attention?
MLW is back. They're running weekly shows right now. It's not they're not fully back. They're doing MLW Fusion on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. leading into Dynamite. So you can catch them. They're coming back in properly next month. They have a big show in Philadelphia coming up that's going to have a bunch of title matches on it, including Tajiri is returning, and he's going to be wrestling on the MLW card, so that's fun. But the big match is Hammerstone versus Fatu. So that match is happening, I believe it's October 2nd in Philly, but then they're going to air it on BN Sports. So it's on Vice TV. It'll come on right after Dark Side of the Ring, I think on the 16th or something like that. Oh, nice. So everybody will be able to check that out.
All right. Sounds good. So we got John and John back together with us, and we'll bring them back in, and we'll get to a huge event at Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens, New York. We had Grand Slam. We had a 2-night AEW event. Absolutely phenomenal wrestling, as always, put on by AEW. 20,000 people were going absolutely crazy. And Ryan Joy, they kicked it out. They kicked it off with the one match that everybody was clamoring to wait. We didn't have to wait long to see Bryan Danielson, almost did it, and Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I liked that they put it on first too, because you never want to hear "or TV time remaining" when they talk about the last match. So I think, when we were all sitting around trying to pick who was going to win this match, we all kind of were like circling around draw, even though nobody had the guts to pick it, right? So it's like, but ultimately the match ended the way it began. Both men standing in the ring looking at each other as the bell rang. 30 minutes expired. These two are obviously destined to be meeting again. I would suggest that storyline will continue immediately, and we'll have something in Rochester that builds up their next match, I presume, in at Full Gear. This match was very well reviewed by anybody who criticizes AEW, anybody who likes wrestling. Pretty much loved this match that went to a draw. Jim Cornette, who never has anything nice to say about AEW, said this is the best thing that he's seen on AEW ever, and he said it's the best thing he's seen in wrestling in a long time. So, rave reviews.
Yeah, that's high praise coming from Jim Cornette, who's probably the biggest negative Nancy there is out there. But this completely just destroys the PWI 500. It really does. It's still that was my whole point. They needed to protect their guy in Kenny Omega. Kenny needed to win that match. Now he doesn't. He can't beat Daniel Bryan when Roman Reigns dropped him twice. So is Roman Reigns the best wrestler in the world right now, John DeConnie?
Of course.
Yeah, you have it. If A is bigger than B, and B is bigger than C, then. So the PWI ranking, nobody cares about it. It's more just it's a joke. I know nobody gives a crap about the PWI 500. Wrestlers don't. Right. Certain fans do. I think it's fun, but everyone has their own opinion. The guy who writes that's no better than Dave Meltzer, is no better than me or you or whoever's watching. So it's all opinionated. So it's irrelevant. But yes, Roman Reigns would beat Kenny Omega in a wrestling match. Yes.
It was Ryan Joy. It was Bryan Danielson's first 5-star match ever.
Was it really? Oh, good for him.
See, that's just a joke right there.
Yeah,
yes. The fact that Daniel Bryan's never had a 5-star match is like that's a joke. So how could you take a guy seriously if he's never given Daniel Bryan 5 stars until he went in the ring with Kenny? Come on.
I don't know. That WrestleMania 30 with Triple H, that was about 10 stars. I'll give him that. Ryan, the AEW Women's Championship, that main event in Wednesday night. Still have the song stuck in my head from about 3 weeks ago. Just got it out, and now it's back in there again.
Britt Baker's song, you mean?
Yes, the Doctor Will See You Now. Yep.
Okay, I thought that's what you meant, or is it Adam Cole's song? His is at the top of the charts last I knew. Yeah. So Britt Baker and Ruby Soho close out Dynamite. This is the second time that Britt Baker's been trusted in the main event position, and this was a major show. So it was nice that they put the title match on last, put the women in such a strong spot, and Britt Baker won the match, but not without some shenanigans. So Ruby was able to deal with Rebel. She got the riot kick, and then Jamie Hayter clotheslined her over the top rope, which led to the finish. Ruby had to tap out to Britt Baker's, what'd she call it? The lockjaw. Yeah. So Britt Baker gets the W. Obviously, at some point down the road, they'll get another opportunity. But this sets up Ruby to wrestle Jamie Hayter, I think, in short order. And then, we'll go from there. I'm sure we'll get Britt and Ruby sometime later, hopefully after Thunder Rosa gets her hands on Britt.
So John Smith, everybody was against Sting last Wednesday, except for the one guy who hates him more than anybody else. That was a fun match, though. Even up to FTR. By the way, okay, so FTR Who was FTR ripping off here? Were they ripping off the New Day, ripping off the NWO? Or were they ripping off Randy Orton, ripping off the NWO? Because those are some the NWO short they were wearing.
I didn't even think of it that way. I just thought NWO, but
Woods and Kofi were wearing them like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
actually. This match did not go the way I thought it would. I thought that FTR was going to cheat to win, but we got ourselves a good match with Darby, putting his life on the line for no reason a couple times, like he always does, and then Sting hitting all his hits, and we got a double Stinger splash, and then Tully held up a chair in the corner for a Stinger splash, and he caught himself, knocked Tully out. We got ourselves a Scorpion Deathlock, which is kind of like the sharpshooter, right?
Yes. The thing is with the sharpshooter you step over with your left foot. The Scorpion Deathlock you step over with your right foot.
But what if you're a lefty?
Then you step over with your left foot, and it's a sharpshooter.
Oh, okay. So I can't do a Scorpion Deathlock.
Ricky Joshu invented both moves, so you're good.
Okay.
It was called. I believe Ronnie Garvin did it. My recollection, Brian, I'm sure you're right, but the first time I ever saw it was reverse figure 4 from Rugged Ronnie Garvin on Greg the Hammer Valentine. But I digress.
Yeah. So Cash is trying to pull Dax out, and then we get a coffin drop on him on the apron. Gets pulled back into the middle of the ring, still in the Scorpion Deathlock, tap out. Happy days.
Yeah, it wasn't for lack of trying. You guys had it right. FTR and Tully did try. They knew they had to cheat to win that match. Sting is smarter than the average bear, I guess. He saw the chair on the turnbuckle and he got away from it. John DeConnie, it looked like, shout out to John Smith. All right, he mentioned last week that he tripped Cody during the commercial break at the Prudential Center as they were fighting up the stairs. It seemed like that was what did Cody. And Cody, you can see, was noticeably injured going into that match with Malachi Black.
Yes, not only that, but Arn still seemed to be, emotionally scarred from it because as he tried to work his way around the ring apron, he took a tumble. Yeah. Then he gets back up on the ring apron, and Malachi Black shoves Cody into the ropes, knocks Arn down. Cody would knock Malachi Black out on the far side. He would go back over and check on Coach Arn, who was in a very grumpy mood, just kind of yelled at Cody, basically, get back in there. What are you looking at me for? So Cody took the instruction. He got right back in there and started going at it with Malachi Black in the corner again. And, wrestling, it's whenever it's convenient, it's illegal. He's pounding on him in the corner, and the ref's saying, let him out of the corner. Cody backhands the referee, which somehow did not cause a disqualification, but it got the referee to turn around just long enough for Malachi Black to spit some kind of black goo in Cody's face and eventually roll him up for the 1, 2, 3 and get the win. So no black mass, but Malachi Black gets the victory.
No black mass, but black mist. Yeah.
I don't think the ref saw the backhand. I think that's what it was.
In his own face?
Yeah. I don't think he saw it. You can't call what you don't see.
That's a fair assessment. And then the other match on the night, MJF defeated Brian Pillman Jr. With the Salt of the Earth. Then we go to Friday night and Rampage Grand Slam, interpromotional, non-sanctioned lights out, I believe was the phrase in this one. This was not a Hotel 6 match. The lights were not on for this one. A little interpromotional action, though. How, as our New Japan correspondent, as I said, Ryan Joyce, so you got New Japan versus AEW. A lot of this has been happening lately. That forbidden door has been swinging open, specifically for Jon Moxley. How did this one float your boat?
So I like the match. What was interesting is that, toward the end, though, Suzuki and Archer were kind of getting the better of Moxley and Kingston until the forbidden door swung open and through this forbidden door for the first time is Ring of Honor and their guy Homicide. He walks through, he makes the save, ends up with a paradigm shift, all kinds of great stuff. I think Kingston actually gets the cover on Archer for the W, and all the Moxley celebrates with the New Yorker guys to end the show. But I think back when we first talked about Arthur Ashe ages ago, we thought this was going to be a big moment for Eddie Kingston. So it makes sense that they had a big Kingston pin at the end and the big celebration. It wasn't for the TNT title, which is what I thought they were going to do, is have a return here. But we still got a big Eddie Kingston moment at Arthur Ashe, which was cool.
Yeah, good for him. And there's more New York guys later who I forgot were from New York. It probably would have swayed my pick the other way around. Actually, I'll just say it now. The Lucha Brothers and Santana Ortiz. Damn it, I forgot Santana Ortiz were from New York.
No.
Oh, my God. Santana came out in Yankees gear. Ortiz came out in Mets gear. That was pretty cool. They got the win over the Hardy family office after Mark Quinn took finishers from both teams. So he ate a pile. Super Click defeated Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express after the Panama Sunrise, a BTE trigger, and a last shot on Luchasaurus. CM Punk was in the ring. He curtain jerked the shows. He did the same thing. That actually was a smart move to do too. So you're at 10 o'clock. It's late enough as it already is. You might as well just throw Punk in there. Just get everybody, at least the people at home, fired back up again.
Yeah, and I mean, Rampage ended up with being the highest rated show on cable during that window. So that was good for them that they did that, as they started to show off fast with that match. My big question in this whole thing was, can CM Old Logan Punk pick up Will Hobbs into the go to sleep? That was the question that was going through my mind the entire match. And it turned out at the end, after about 13 minutes, he was able to do so. He defied all logic and physics and was able to lift Hobbs up and hit the go to sleep for the W.
John DeConnie, Men of the Year. They got the win over the Inner Circle. Two things. One, there goes America's Top Team ripping off Retribution by coming out of the crowd and surrounding the but where was the Inner Circle in all this? They just let two of their guys get their asses kicked.
Exactly.
Ortiz, I guess they had the next match and they didn't want to do it, but where was Sammy?
Yeah, exactly. It was an 8-on-2 beatdown at one point. You've got, two former UFC heavyweight champions. You've got a guy in Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, who's the baddest MFer in the UFC, and 12 Gauge Page. There was no joking. And Hager and Jericho got the crap beat out of them after the match, after already losing to an inside cradle. And the whole thing was capped off by Jorge Masvidal hitting a nasty running, jumping knee strike right to Jericho's face.
Yeah. Sold. Jericho, he just, that was good. I'm sure it didn't. I'm sure it actually did hurt. I'm sure that was an easy sell for Jericho, but he looked like he got shot after that.
Yeah, I'm sure Masvidal hasn't practiced missing that kick or that knee too many times, so I would not have wanted to be on the other end of it.
Yep. And then Penelope Ford, she got the win over Anna Jay after a brass knucks shot. Post-match attack thwarted by the Dark Order, who appeared to have come together and rally to save Anna Jay from the Hardy front office. But then they still don't get along. And then Uno, when's Bray Wyatt's 90-day up, Ryan?
Close to full gear.
Okay,
it's kind of a weird situation. A lot of people think that Bray Wyatt will be in Rochester tomorrow because that's Brody Lee's hometown.
Yes.
But his 90-day is not up. However, WWE was being pretty lenient with those 90 days and letting people out of them. I hadn't heard anything about Bray Wyatt's, though.
Okay. So going into, actually, real quick, here are our AEW specific standings after Grand Slam. John DeConnie had a hell of an event. 17 points, and we'll get more with John in a second. He's got a lead over Ryan, followed by Johnson, Travis, myself. Everyone did pretty decent on this. Even Tyler went 7 for 4. But John DeConnie was the man of Friday night as he nailed Grand Slam Rampage, the perfect 6-0, right? Rampage, that was the 6th one, right?
Is that right?
So 6-0 for John DeConnie. He has now joined Ryan Joy, tied for second, chasing John Smith in the perfect pay-per-view category. But Ryan Joy is still winning the overall standings after 22 shows. There were 3 shows scored this weekend. And John DeConnie made up a lot of ground, getting 31 points out of the 3 shows, 13-3. Very impressive, very well done by the living legend.
It just goes to show you can be second place on every list like I am and still be at the top of the main list.
Well, that's what it is. It's consistency. The model of consistency. So we have some matches coming up from AEW. First, we'll do the one match that they have booked for Rampage. After the 8-man tag team match on Friday night, Orange Cassidy came out, took out Jack Evans on the entrance ramp. Matt Hardy was absolutely furious. So furious that he wants a hair versus hair match with Orange Cassidy to be fought by Jack Evans. So, Jack Evans is not happy about this, and rightly so. Jack Evans has an amazing flow. Ryan Joy, I know you're a big hair aficionado.
Yeah, ever since the match John Smith and I had the double pin loss in. Or was it just a time limit draw, John? I can't remember at this point. I think Orange Cassidy's going to win this. I think he's like the bigger star for one thing, and secondly, it's probably leading to. I'm not sure how many times Orange Cassidy's going to put his hair on the line, but eventually, I think Matt Hardy's going to lose his hair.
But if you ask Orange Cassidy, John Smith, you're going to put your hair on the line, I'll be like, whatever.
That doesn't mean he's going to lose his hair, though. No, he's definitely winning this match, 100%.
Jack Evans, John DeConnie, this upsets me.
I know that's a lot of hair. You know, maybe he'll give it away to Locks of Love or something like that, because that is one healthy flow he's got. But he's not going home with all that hair.
Mm-hmm. So that will be on Friday night on Rampage. We have 4 matches booked on Dynamite tomorrow night. First, we have a TNT Championship match. At the end of the question, this is where Sammy was while Jericho and Hager were getting their asses kicked. He actually got fumbled by Miro, but it was after the fact. So whatever. He was doing this sign thing that he always does in the commercial break. But it was actually after the commercial break. So I don't know. But Miro came out. Miro trucked him, and they're going to have a TNT Championship match on Wednesday night. John Smith, what do you got?
Oh, definitely Miro. He's not losing that belt yet.
It's God's favorite champion, Ryan.
I know. I like Sammy Guevara for the match, but Miro seems to be unstoppable. I'm not sure Sammy's the guy to take him down, but at some point, Sammy's got to win a match. I'll pick Sammy for good measure.
All right. John DeConnie, I don't know who – I have Miro in this, and Ryan Joy wins. I have no idea who's going to beat Miro. I don't see anybody on that 237-person roster that can beat Miro.
I'm not big on Sammy can't possibly, or this guy can't possibly win because he's not big and the other guy's big. But in this case, I think Sammy will be redeemed and Miro will take the victory here.
Okay. We have a tag team match. Anna Jay and Ty Conte will be going against the Bunny and Penelope Ford. There have been this is the first time I think Tay was in a match with Penelope. This has been circling around. We're finally going to get the tag team match, John DeConnie, with these 4 ladies.
Yes, indeed, and they've both recently been KO'd by the Brass Knucks. Yes. So therefore, I'm going to take TJ to get the victory here, and Ford and the Bunny to get their comeuppance.
John Smith.
Agreed.
All right, Ryan Joy.
I mean, it's the spiritual home of the Dark Order. They're not going to lose.
No.
I think Anna Jay's the new leader of the Dark Order. So
you know what? That's actually an interesting concept. If that actually works out and that happens in Rochester, she finally they win the match, and she finally just unleashes hell on all 12 of them, or how many people are in the Dark Order, and they just fall in line.
Yeah, they get in some way, shape, or form. I think they get their S together at this show.
Yeah.
Ish.
And then we have a tag team match. We have Cody Rhodes and Shotty Lee Johnson. Big Shotty Lee Johnson, right? I apologize for that. We have the Nightmare Family going against Dante Martin and Matt Sydal. Ryan Joy. The joke's over. I beat the dead horse, but if you want to bring it up, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, Dante Martin and just one of the sedans.
One of the sedans. Best
give me
typo
Cody
ever.
here. He's
the
got
best spell check ever, by the way. That's not you. Like when they bring it up, like that's not a shot at you. That was just an unnoticed spell check. That's hysterical.
Cody lost last week. I think he needs to redeem himself. I'm sure he'll win this match.
All right, John DeConnie. I don't know if Cody has recovered from the John Smith trip at the Prudential Center.
But I think Big Shotty there will carry him, and he'll get that bad.
John Smith, who's booking this match?
Cody's booking it.
Yeah.
Cody's winning it. Cody is trash.
And then a really interesting match. I'm actually looking forward to this. From stemming off the 6-man match, or they're starting to call these trios matches, so I'm hoping those titles are not far behind. But Adam Cole and Jungle Boy, they're going to get at it tomorrow night. I am extremely intrigued with that match. I got Adam Cole, and I'm sure there's going to be story time afterwards, but I think that's going to be, I don't want to say 5 stars, because obviously it's not, Kenny Omega, but at least, 4.95 stars, John Smith, out of Adam Cole, Bay and Jack Perry.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I definitely got Cole winning it. I just want to see him move on to that TNT title picture.
Interesting. John DeConnie.
Yeah, I have to concur. Jungle Jack never really needs a victory to keep him well over with the fans, and Cole and the Super Click are on a roll, so I assume that will continue.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, I believe shenanigans was the word you used earlier, Ryan Joy, and that was a great use of the word.
Yeah, I think so. I think there will be in this match too. It's unfortunate. I like, Jungle Boy is like the guy who just is almost there, always. Like he's never gonna quite get the big win. I think this would be a huge win for him, but I don't think he's gonna get it because Adam Cole's got too much newness on him in AEW.
Yeah, he's still got that new wrestler smell to him,
Yeah.
So you're right though. That would be
it's that WWE smell actually.
All right, so that will do it.
Something to that.
I'm sorry, what was that, Ryan?
There is something to that because there's people that are tuning in that weren't watching AEW before that are tuning in because Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson are on the show and they want to see them do well. So,
all right, so that will do it for today's episode. So we'll read through some promos here, and then we'll get out of here. We'll get you guys ready. Plenty of time for NXT 2.0.
Wow.
Here I am thinking we were running long.
Yeah, I was actually curious about that before.
Yep. The Primetime Rundown, powered by StreamYard with Joe Jarzenka, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca, is now airing at 7 p.m. on Friday nights as they take you through the wild world of sports right here on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. For more information, please go to theeasternobserver.com. With this, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we have invaded the Primetime Rundown, and we are taking part in a little Inter-Eastern Promotion Survivor football pool. So here are our standings from our end of things after 3 weeks. The four of us, we are on a roll right now. John Smith sweating a little bit in that one.
Oh wow! Actually, no. I was listening to that game on the radio, and when they said that he was coming out for a 66-yarder and he's the best kicker in the league, I actually knew he was going to hit it. I wasn't worried at all, actually.
Yeah, that is a good thing the referees weren't looking at the play clock right before that play, though. But yeah, then you got Tyler Adelle on the bottom, the Chicago Bears. I guess he had some inside information, John DeConnie, that the Bears were going to go into Cleveland against that defense and take down the Browns. I don't know.
He sure didn't ask for my opinion.
Yeah. And then Gary, he still thinks it's soccer. Football is soccer to him over in Northern Ireland. He picked Real Madrid. They actually they did have a match. I believe they scored a tie of 0-0. I guess you can't get any more stereotypical in soccer than a 0-0 game. But here are, as I say, we are. We'll talk trash amongst each other. We're all 3-0 right now, so I don't think any trash talking can happen. But we are still winning the race. The primetime rundown did go perfect. They went 6-0. Joe Jarzenka finally got on the board. And Tyler, like I said, that one loss, he brought us down a peg. So we still have a 2-game lead over the primetime rundown in a very, very early season. So we'll keep you posted on that. I do believe, not sure if producer Joe talked to either one of you two, Johns, but one of you or both of you do have an invitation to represent the Essential Wrestling Podcast this Friday on the primetime rundown at 7 p.m. on all of the Eastern Observer viewing options.
Word.
Nice.
So going forward, we have the Daily Wrestling News Show Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. and get your morning cup of joy with Ryan and his band of merry co-hosts as they sort through all the snafu. Also right here on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. The Body Slam Brigade newsletter. Over 4,500 subscribers received this weekly column. Ryan, what number are we up to?
Oh, I'm not sure.
All right, we'll keep it at 45, though. I like 45. It's a nice round number. Make sure you go to minutestobelltime.com to subscribe. The Body Slam Brigade by Ryan for you for free. The Black Cats NYC, their new album, Free Cake. Make sure... I'm sorry, their most recent album. Their what was the phrase I was supposed to use, John Connie?
Newest.
Their newest album. Sorry, their newest
Or
album.
latest
That's
album.
the word I was looking for. Their latest album, Free Cake. You can get their album on all of the music platforms you see on your screen: Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, Deezer. The official band of the Eastern Observer, the Black Cats NYC, and their new album, Free Cake. As always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or create a private pool with you and your friends. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she'll like it too. Join us back here next week for episode 74 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Anyway, you are watching the show right now, be sure to tune back in with us next week at 6 p.m. And we'll go over some more wrestling, have a little more, tell some more jokes, have some more laughs. And don't forget our Bound for Glory special on Saturday, October 23rd, as we go in depth for the biggest show of the calendar year for Impact Wrestling. We'll be live at 3 p.m. on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. Bound for Glory will be the pre-show to the pre-show, but their show doesn't start till 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. They are going normal time Vegas, a 7 o'clock start in Vegas. So we're going to be getting it late here. But other than that, Ryan, Joy, anything before we leave?
All good.
All right. Yeah, the one time I do you first, and I don't forget about you. You got nothing to say. I like that. John Smith.
No, I got nothing today.
All right, John Connie.
We are good to go.
Okay, I know Ryan Joy, you chimed in. I don't know if the comments in the private chat. You're taking the Buffalo Bills in the football pool. That's the one game that kind of stands out to me as well. I have a little bit of a chart going here. I got the Buffalo Bills this week as well. They have a home game. They have the Houston Texans. Should be good to go with that. Other than that, yeah, obviously the Patriots are a lock as well. I don't know who this quarterback guy is that's going into Foxborough this Sunday night, but
Also, whoever's playing the Jets is what I heard.
Tennessee. I'll be at that game actually.
Oh, nice. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, for myself, for Ryan Joy, for John Smith, for John DeConnie, Alexa Bliss, we love you. Larry Steve, forever in our hearts. John DeConnie, take us home.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
Like, I want to know how much that cat got paid to be in this shot right here. Like that was